so that's always all he wants to say.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all to the Whitehall City Council meeting of February 15th, 2022. If everyone would please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Aug, would you please call roll?
Coniston.
Present.
Cantor.
Present.
Heck.
Present.
Smith.
Present.
Bailey.
Present.
Dixon.
Present.
Elmore. Present. President Potter.
Present. At this time, we've got the approval of the minutes for the January 31st, 2022 agenda and special meeting minutes, as well as the February 1st, 2022 agenda and regular meeting minutes.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. There's been a motion by Ms. Coniston, second by Mr. Cantor for the approval of the minutes. Is there any discussion? Ms. Aug, please call roll.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor.
Yes.
Heck.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Elmore.
Yes.
The minutes have been approved. This brings us to our first poll public. We have nobody in attendance this evening, but we do have one that was sent into the council office. And Ms. Aug, if you'd please read that into the record.
Jeff Thoburn, 466 Maplewood Avenue. My poll public of February 1st, 2022 was called out as erroneous both here in the People's Chamber and online, where one Whitehall political aficionado / character assassin said that I need to drive around and take peeks to learn about Whitehall instead of using the World Wide Web. While reading about the Safer Whitehall levy online, I came upon the 2020 Whitehall Police capital budget entry of $3.6 million for a building addition. This is a budget entry at the official whitehall.us website that in at least 2 years' time has not been revised, updated, or removed. I quoted that entry. The feedback received triggers deja vu to my attendance at a Whitehall Planning Commission meeting where I picked up the evening's itinerary handout that listed a poll public session. When I asked if the poll public portion of the Planning Commission meeting was in progress because other residents were speaking, I was told there is no poll public session at planning meetings. That said, I apologize for referencing information obtained at your government website, and if other portions of my February 1st, 2022 poll public were found to be in error, I welcome your contacting me to debunk them and correct my stated claims. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aug. Standing committee reports. Administration and Financial Management, Chairperson Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration and Financial Management did meet last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We will meet again next Tuesday sometime at 6:30.
Thank you. Community and Elder Advocacy, Chairperson Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Community and Elder Advocacy met last week. Our minutes are on file, and we intend to meet next week around the same time.
Very good, thank you. Community Standards and Enforcement, Chairperson Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Potter. Our committee met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file, and we will meet again next Tuesday.
Thank you. Economic Development, Chairperson Cantor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Economic Development met last week. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next week after 6:30 right here.
Very good. Infrastructure, Maintenance, and Services, Chairperson Coniston.
Thank you, President Potter. Infrastructure Maintenance and Services also met last week. Our minutes are on file. Tonight we do have Resolution 8, 2022, which will be up for adoption, and we'll meet again next week.
Very good. Public Safety, Chairperson Elmore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Safety met on Tuesday. We have no pending or draft pieces of legislation. Our minutes are on file, and we will meet again next Tuesday.
Thank you. And Parks and Recreation, Chairperson Head.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks and Recreation met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We have no drafts or pending legislation. And Parks and Rec does have a commission meeting tomorrow. That's all.
Very good. Officials reports, Mayor Magger.
Good evening. I think at the last meeting, I was asked about when do I think the mask mandates may be able to go away. In the meantime, I have spoken with Dr. Roberts, Columbus Public Health official, as well as Commissioner Joe Mazzola from Franklin County Public Health. They were able to explain it very easily to me. There's 4 color options regarding how it complements the health in Franklin County. The worst one is red, then goes orange, yellow, and blue. Yellow is moderate, and they feel that if we can get to yellow, that we can ease the mask mandates. And currently, yellow means there's a 5 to 7.9% positivity rate for COVID. And it's between 10 and 49 cases per 100,000. So our goal is to get to yellow. Ultimate goal is to get to blue, but I think that's going to take a while. Currently, in Franklin County, we have a 9.6% positivity rate. And we have 176 cases per 100,000 people. So we're not there yet. We're not there at the yellow rate yet. However, we have good news in that 2 weeks ago, rates came down by 50%, and last week they came down by 40%. So that's a good trend. And hopefully within 2 to 3 weeks, we may be able to make adjustments on the mask mandates. I'd also like to say that I agree that it's difficult to see other states and also communities to the northwest and northeast of us easing mask mandates. However, they are now in the yellow status, while we are still in the orange status. And some of the things that are keeping us in the orange status at this time that I have been told, and it may take a little longer to get to the yellow status, is that in Franklin County, we have a 62% vaccination rate, and those are with 2 shots. However, our booster rate is below 50%. So that's one of the reasons we keep on having some cases and we're not going down as fast as we would like. However, we believe that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we may be able to get there. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm just asking everyone to be patient, and because I know that we will not be wearing these forever, but we do need to be patient as we move forward. So I just wanted to give you an update on my conversations with Franklin County Public Health and also with Columbus Public Health today. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. That's some very good information. City Administrator Woodruff is not with us this evening. City Attorney Bivens.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. I just want to give council and members of council as well as the public information. I just returned back from Washington, D.C. As an ambassador for the city of Whitehall to speak to have some very strategic conversations at the National Association of Counties meeting that occurred in Washington, D.C. It was a legislative conference. Was invited there because, as you know, the Franklin County Commissioners have funded a program that currently operates in our mayor's court, and I was advancing the conversation as it relates to the services that are provided in our mayor's court as a touchstone and as a bridge to the poverty blueprint that Franklin County initiated, as well as a strategic initiative to use the criminal justice system as a touch point for eradication of poverty, eradication of systemic racism, as well as providing additional services. The goal, and I am really excited about what occurred over the weekend while in DC, because the next phase of this potentially could be to provide wraparound services to the defendants that come into our mayor's courts. And what wraparound services mean is it just does not impact the defendant, but we actually get into the defendant's homes to impact their significant others, impact their children, with the express goal that if we can stop it here, then maybe we can stave off any future incidences of crime or incidences that could occur. So I'm really excited about the conversations that I've had over the weekend. I hope to share more information as I'm developing more relationships in that regard. But I was just really excited that Whitehall was on the radar and that we're in the topic of discussion, because the way that we're providing this service is innovative. No one's really doing it the way that we are, and that's just the Whitehall way, and I'm really excited about that as being a touchstone of opportunity for individuals that think they're coming in to get a charge, and some of them walk out potentially with employment opportunities and pathways to break drug and alcohol addiction. And then next, maybe their significant others may get those other things. So I'm really thankful for that. And then next, in the upcoming weeks, I would hope to get on council's agenda to do some public presentations as it relates to domestic violence. I've got, one of my prosecutors has gone through some significant training that I would love to share with members of council and members of the public, just to inform you of some really innovative things on the way to stave off and to prevent domestic violence in the future. So that's from the city attorney's office. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good information. Auditor Quinzel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last Tuesday, the Ohio House Ways and Means Committee held its first hearing on House Bill 519. This bill modifies the law for city income tax filing extensions and limits the penalties for filing late. House Bill 519 would prohibit my office from sending notices to taxpayers who have extended their federal tax filing deadline. The catch is, we don't have access to IRS records and don't know that the taxpayer has filed for a federal extension. To contact that taxpayer, we must wait until the taxpayer files their return or their extended due date passes. And again, we don't know when their due date is. And if my office would happen to send a notice a prohibited notice to one of these taxpayers, the city could be penalized by having to reimburse the taxpayer for any reasonable costs incurred in responding, which could include the costs of tax accountants and attorneys. This bill also limits the penalties the city can impose for late filers to 50% of their unpaid tax, so long as that amount is under $150. This eliminates penalties for taxpayers who have filing requirements but do not owe any tax. Late fees help us recover costs that we incur enforcing our filing requirement. The alternative is filing charges against the taxpayer for failure to file taxes, which ends up costing both the taxpayer and the city more just to bring the account into good standing. So I officially want to go on record as opposing House Bill 519. Thank you.
Thank you. Director of Public Service, Greg is not with us this evening. Treasurer Alexander.
Good evening. Thank you, President Potter. Thank you, Council. No report. My first week on the job has been an eventful one, to say the least. But just wanted to thank you all for wishing me well and welcoming me on to the job and for making last Tuesday a success. It really was a special moment for me, for my family, and my loved ones, and my supporters. So I just want to extend that graciousness and gratuity to you all as well. Thank you.
Thank you, and again, welcome. The following official reports have been filed in the council office since our last meeting, and that would include the following 5 items. The mayor's report to council for January 2022, the auditor's expense report for January 2022, the auditor's bank report for January 2022, the auditor's statement of cash position report for January 2022, and the auditor's revenue report for January 2022. Under communications, petitions, and claims, we have got no communications, petitions, or claims that have been filed in the office since our last meeting. Ms. Aug, would you please call roll on whether each member of council was given a copy of each item of legislation listed on the agenda prior to the meeting and including any add-on legislation?
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore. Yes.
Thank you. Under third reading, we've got no legislation this evening, which brings us to second reading where we have two items. First one being ordinance 5, 2022, which will be read by title only and is amending 143.15 D1 titled Emergency Medical Billing. Brings us to Resolution 8, 2022, authorizing the mayor to enter into agreements with the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, for improvements at the Main Street and Hamilton Road intersection and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Resolution 8, 2022, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second, please.
There's been a motion by Ms. Coniston, seconded by Mr. Cantor to introduce Resolution 8, 2022, and to suspend all rules. Is there any discussion? Ms. Aug, please call roll.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore. Yes.
The rules have been suspended.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt by Ms. Coniston, seconded by Mr. Cantor. Any discussion? Ms. Aug, please call roll.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
Elmore. Yes.
Resolution 8, 2022 has been adopted. We have got no legislation under first reading, which will bring us to our second poll public of the evening. And we have no one present in the crowd, and we've read the one piece that has been sent to council office. So that'll move us to our community date board. Okay, thank you. Then we'll go to poll council. Ms. Coniston.
I would just like to thank everybody for viewing, and
Well
see you
said.
next time.
Well said. Mr. Cantor.
Oh, okay, thank you so much, Mr. President. I'd like to thank everybody for viewing tonight. I'd like to say, give a special congratulations to Whitehall's bowling teams. The boys, the Rams, they won the MSL League. And the girls got second in the league, but today they won the sectional, so good job, good coaching there, and great participation and some super students there. And I wish you all the best and good luck going forward, and maybe we'll get some of our bowlers into the States, because I know we have some really, really good bowlers. Also, I want to thank the people that have contacted me on my comments about the police and our service department, and the members actually of the police department and our service department. Much appreciated. I appreciate everything that you do. And like I've said the last couple of weeks, there's nobody better than you in our city or in our state, and I greatly appreciate it. One last thing is, this past week, I'd like for everybody to keep the families of the Wolves, the Hunleys, and the Kuseneses, who are lifelong residents of our great community, who the mothers have all passed away. I normally don't bring this up with names, but I've known these individuals for so long. It was so sad to lose three wonderful women like this in such a short time. So that's all I have, Mr. President. Girls, I'll see you real soon.
Thank you. Ms. Heck.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, everybody viewing at home. Thank you, Mayor Maggard, for the update on the masks. And Attorney Bivens, thank you for going and representing Whitehall. I'm sure you did a fabulous job. And I really look forward to hearing more about those wraparound services. I think that would be great and really help the community. Since there's nobody here, that's really all I got.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, everybody, for viewing. I also appreciated the update, Mayor, on what's going on and why we make the decisions we make. I think that's really helpful for people to understand. And I love that we're being so innovative and looking at the whole person, not just the act or a moment of someone's life. And so I think that's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think these folks covered everything pretty well. I have nothing to add.
Very good. Mr. Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is my last opportunity to, well, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Bivens, Attorney Bivens, and the mayor for their comments. This is my last opportunity to acknowledge, of course, Black History Month. And I just wanted to say something brief. When I was growing up here in Whitehall, it was pretty much a 99.75% white community, and I was just a kid living my life here. And I remember there were these riots downtown. This is the late 60s. And I was concerned about them as a child. I was scared, and I didn't know what they were all about. And I think it really affected me, and I wanted to take my time in life, and later on, to understand the Black experience in Whitehall, that which I was not surrounded with. And part of that education on my part was reading. I've read a lot. I've had a lot of discourse with all kinds of people over 3 states and decades. And I just wanted to say that out of my top 10 favorite books in life, one of them is by a gentleman named Nathan McCall. And he wrote a book called Makes Me Want to Holler. And the byline is A Young Black Man in America. And he really goes into depth. He was raised in a middle-class family, and he got in trouble and was sent to prison for armed robbery and such. But his story is really told well and very eye-opening. And I just wanted to put that out there, that if anyone wants to learn a little more about at least the experience of one young black man's experience in America, this is an excellent book to read. Something else, in today's dispatch there was an article about Dave Chappelle and the affordable housing situation in Yellow Springs. And the media had misreported that he was against affordable housing, and that's really not the case. But the thing for me is and what I took from it, were these 2 things. Number one, the people with enough power in whatever form that takes can and should fight any and everything they deem wrong for their town. The second thing I took from it was that a council responding properly and healthily to citizens' concerns and demands can vote against things brought before them that their constituents don't want. Finally, good news. In the last couple of years, I've been in a lot of talks with folks at Target, and this was as a private citizen. We went back and forth, and the Target carts in the creek and all over the neighborhood and everything else. They now have locking carts. I'm thrilled about it, and I know that there are constituents out there that were sick and tired of seeing the Target carts everywhere. So I just wanted to let the community know that Target has locking carts. And I'd like to thank everyone for watching from home, and I'd like to thank Mr. Thoburn for his comments as always. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And Ms. Elmore.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to thank everybody for viewing Facebook. Mayor, thank you for that update and the explanation, because that will help people understand what's happening. Secondly, I'd like to thank the city attorney. That is great information, and that they see value in inviting you from Whitehall to give that information, and that they might provide other services to help offenders. That is absolutely wonderful. And also, City Auditor Steve Quinsel. Not very often do you hear information regarding legislation from the State House, which impacts what happens at the local level. So that's good information, and I'll be watching House Bill 519. This month is also Heart Awareness Month, and red, not just for Valentine's Day, but also I'd like to give my moments in Black history. I believe that it's an opportunity for us to seize and to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every endeavor throughout history. Thurgood Marshall was the first African American appointed to Supreme Court. Shirley Chisholm, first African American woman in New York's 12th Congressional District to be in Congress. Colin Powell, 4-star general, became Secretary of State. Barack Obama, the first Black president. Kamala Harris, first Black woman to be Vice President of the United States. And also, I want to bring it all the way home to Whitehall. Michael Bivins, city attorney, first African-American city attorney for Whitehall. Myself, first African-American woman, City of Whitehall Council, and now we have Shaquille Alexander for the Treasurer's Office. My hope is that we continue to represent this city well in all of its residents. And I'll leave with this. The most healthy thing is to be true to one's own self, but also that you have a right to express what you see and what you feel and what you think. To be bold with your vision as you can possibly be. And that's Alice Walker, who in 1982 became the first Black African American woman to win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction for her novel, The Color Purple. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, President.
Thank you. And I would like to echo everyone's comments this evening, again, on your reports. I've got nothing other than that. So with that,
Second.
motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Mr. Cantor to adjourn. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Aug, please call roll.
Coniston? Yes. Cantor?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Dixon?
Yes?
Elmore?
Yes.
And we are adjourned.